The Playboy suddenly couldn't sit still. For the rest of the ride, Adrian Wu was constantly on the phone, switching effortlessly between English and Italian. Aurora Shen had no intention of deciphering the business talk. She leaned lazily against the headrest, occasionally glancing at him through the rearview mirror. Adrian Wu was like two entirely different men when he worked, and when he didn't. The scenery sweeping past outside cast, shifting patterns of light and shadow on his profile, sharpening the clean line of his jaw. Behind his simple, elegant metal-framed glasses, his gaze was calm and unwavering. From time to time, during brief silences, he would catch Aurora looking at him through the mirror and he would narrow his eyes slightly, giving her a small, knowing smile. It wasn't until they were approaching the city center that he finally ended the call. "Sorry to keep you waiting," he said. A merger project hit a slight snag. Aurora shook her head, saying it was fine, perfectly understanding. Besides, she didn't want to talk too much with him. Mystery was a woman's most reliable armor. Talking too much only led to mistakes. Florence, close to midnight, had finally grown quiet. Under the dim amber glow of streetlights, the roads were nearly empty. It didn't take long for the car to stop before her apartment building. The studio Aurora rented looked like it had stepped straight out of a Renaissance oil paintings, more worn but charming in its own tired way. It was near her campus, and she paid nearly double the price of a suburban place just so she could sleep a bit more in the mornings. The internet speed, unfortunately, was as slow as a medieval pigeon courier. "You live in this neighborhood?" Adrian asked after parking on the side of the street, a faint hesitation in his voice. It was probably the most cramped place he had ever seen. But Aurora didn't feel embarrassed. The class divide between them was obvious, something she could neither hide nor needed to. "It's close to school, convenient. Is it safe here?" Realizing that sounded abrupt, he added, "I mean your neighbors." "The neighbors are nice. There's an old lady next door. Aside from occasionally singing opera in the mornings, she has no strange habits." Adrian smiled, understanding. "Good. Then you should head in and rest early." He said that, yet his hand remained on the steering wheel. He didn't drive off. He turned, watching her quietly under the faint interior lights. Aurora sensed he wanted to say something more. A sliver of hesitation slipped through the silence hidden behind the soft sound of him swallowing. His eyes lingered on her lips. For a moment, it seemed he was gathering the courage to ask whether she wanted to come up for coffee, or stay a little longer. The night wind stirred, carrying a spark of tension. Then a faint rustle of leather seats and clothes. Adrian leaned closer, suddenly closing the distance. Aurora could see a tiny reflection of herself in his dark brown eyes. Their breaths brushed, but Adrian didn't kiss her. Instead, his gaze dipped to her lips. Just when she thought he would move in, he lifted a finger and lightly touched the corner of her mouth. There was a faint smear of cream left from the pastry she had eaten earlier. The warm pad of his finger brushed over her skin, slightly rough, enough to send a shiver through her. Aurora froze. Adrian pulled his hand back. "A little bit of cream," he murmured. "Thanks. Luckily, only you saw it." She blinked mischievously, then promptly shifted the topic. "But I'm tired today. I really need to shower and sleep. I have class tomorrow." He wanted more than that, she could tell. But she had already pushed the door open. The night wind blew through her curls, casting her silhouette in a soft, alluring light. Without looking back at his expression, she simply said, "Good night," and stepped into the old but cozy building. Adrian's fingertips still carried the ghost of her lips. He sat motionless, watching her figure disappear down the hallway through the windshield, his eyes slowly sinking into the night. Click. Aurora entered her tiny room, turned on the light, kicked off her heels, and collapsed barefoot onto the sofa. Wearing a gown and heels all day was exhausting, but landing the authorization for the crowned poem and getting Adrian Wu's WeChat, totally worth it. Still, judging from his behavior tonight, at most he felt a flicker of interest toward her, not even close to anything resembling true attraction. Aurora knew men like him too well, wealthy, dazzling, drowning in beauty. Their looks could tempt any woman into bed. Masters at lying, watching women fall into their sweet trap, then disappearing faster than the seasons could change. No one ever held on to them for long. She wasn't criticizing them. She just knew the rules. If she wanted this game to last, she absolutely couldn't give him the upper hand. Even now, with his WeChat sitting on her phone, she must pretend nothing happened. No texting first, not even a thank you. No asking if he got home safely. Nothing that would suggest she cared. Absolutely nothing. Aurora Shen lay lazily on the sofa, phone raised above her face as she opened the university portal to check tomorrow's schedule. Fortunately, only one class with Professor Adam Mex. She sprawled on the couch for another half an hour before finally deciding to take a shower. By the time she washed up and crawled into bed, it was already 2 in the morning. Exhausted from the entire day, she fell asleep the moment her head touched the pillow. Unfortunately, while someone slept soundly through the long night, someone else remained wide awake. It was the 5th time Adrian Wu picked up his phone. WeChat's interface slid past his thumb again and again, yet there was still no message from that familiar avatar. Not even a simple get home safe, so she just got home and went straight to sleep. But an hour ago, she had shared a song on her Moments. Of course, he clicked the link and read the lyrics carefully. It was an anti-war song. Bold melody, razor-sharp words. He really was overthinking. With a faint sigh, Adrian removed his thin-rimmed glasses and rubbed his temples. "Luca," he murmured, eyes closed, voice low and gravelly as he spoke to the driver in a black uniform up front. "Turn back, we're returning to Florence." "But sir, don't you have a meeting tomorrow? We're almost in Milan, you're not returning." It wasn't something he should have asked, but since they were so close to Milan, he felt obligated to confirm. Luckily, his boss was a gentleman. Luca had rarely ever seen him angry. "I still have unfinished business." Aurora slept straight until 9. After washing up, she fried an egg, rinsed 2 leaves of lettuce, stuffed them into toasted bread breakfast and lunch combined. She never wore makeup to school. Putting on a light base and lip tint was already the highest level of respect she could offer the academic office and the university. The real reason being, she simply couldn't get up in time. June in Italy wasn't to hot Aurora's favorite month of the year. She wore a silver satin slip dress with a thin blazer draped over it, grabbed her bag, and hurried out. The moment she stepped out of the building, the sunlight hit her hard. 2 young men were jogging shirtless, headphones on. Their toned chests rose and fell with each slow stride. Oh Lord, what a shocking scene so early in the morning. Aurora couldn't help grinning from ear to ear. Her apartment wasn't far from school. A 15-minute walk was enough. As usual, she stopped at the cafe near campus for a €1.50 cappuccino. For Italians, croissant with cappuccino was like fried dough sticks with soy milk, the default breakfast. She still remembered when she first came to Italy and ordered a cappuccino in the afternoon. The barista stared at her like she had personally offended his ancestors. Only later did she learn that drinking cappuccino after lunch was the culinary equivalent of putting strawberries or pineapple on pizza's instant Italian disdain. But today, the cafe barista greeted her with exaggerated enthusiasm the moment she stepped in, complimenting her stunning appearance, despite half her face being hidden behind sunglasses. The surprising part wasn't the compliment, it was the fact that she'd been coming here for nearly 3 years. And the man had never once repeated the same compliment twice. One had to admire Italians. Even to dry heave politely, they would prepare their lines in advance. Aurora left the cafe, crossed the street, and stood facing Florence Academy of Art. A historic, public university, ancient buildings, no tuition fees, tourists everywhere. Eventually, she got used to being called Tank. She stopped and turned as Sophia hurried toward her. Tall, curvy, with long reddish-brown hair. Her chest weren't so generously large, she'd look exactly like a fashion magazine model. "Ciao." Aurora waved lazily in greeting. Sophia ignored the greeting entirely, grabbed Aurora's arm, and burst with excitement. "Do you know who's coming today?" Aurora blinked. "What? Oh my God, how did you not see the messages? The whole group's talking about it." We're getting a super sexy guest lecturer today. When Sophia, who already spoke like a walking exaggeration, used 3 supers, that man had to be dangerously attractive. Really, I was walking, didn't see the chat. Who is it? Sophia didn't answer. She opened her phone, scrolled past dozens of exploding notifications, then stopped at a photo. I took this when he got out of the car. She shoved the phone so close that Aurora almost got hit in the face. Aurora pulled the phone back a little, squinted and gasped. What the F***ck? That wasn't that. Why the hell was he at the university?